Hey everyone, and welcome back to my completionist playthrough of Diablo 2 on Hardcore. So here we are in Act 2 Nightmare, and just like I said in the previous episode, in between recordings I have done some Countess farming runs, and quite a few in fact. I did 20 or 19 runs, and got a fair amount of loot we're going to inspect in a moment, as well as 3 levels along the way, catching up to where we should be at this point. Well, level 43 is a bit on the low side still, as the area levels here in Act 2 are between 43 and 49, but it's going to have to do for now. So anyway, let's check out our spoils then. The most important thing, of course, is going to be the runes. I actually managed to find every rune from numbers 1 to 14, which means, for example, the first appearance of an Eld rune in the playthrough. But also something like a shale, which means that we already have all of the ingredients needed to assemble our rhyme runeword in the near future. But of course the most important thing is the abundance of Ort and Thol runes, as well as these 4 precious Amn runes that we've managed to get. They are going to be very, very important in just a few moments. I really wanted to make sure to have a couple of those. Next, when it comes to some other items, I did manage to find another +1 to cold skills orb, which of course is not going to matter anymore. Now when it comes to some set items, I found another pair of Saigon's gauntlets, a Cathan's ring, and Sanders boots that actually dropped from one of the special groups on the way to the Countess Tower. And of course they are notable for the massive faster run walk boost that they provide, but in our current situation they don't really give us much besides that, so I don't think we're going to end up using them. However, I did want to stop here for a moment to discuss the faster run walk attribute and delve into some numbers, some juicy numbers. Because this is a stat that does suffer from some diminishing returns, and I think I'm going to have the formula appear on the screen. But when it comes to our current situation, where we have 25% faster run walk coming from our stealth, our effective faster run walk increase is 21%, so almost the same. The diminishing returns, of course, are very slight in the beginning, but if we add an additional 40% from something like Sanders, having a total of 65% faster run walk coming from gear, our increase in movement speed in actuality is going to be only 45%. So quite a steep decrease there. Of course, it's still a noticeable difference, and I think we might even demonstrate how quickly Nisharan is going to be able to zoom around here. And of course, being able to move faster is always good. However, for a Sorceress, having a lot of faster run walk is not that imperative because of teleport, of course. We use it for general traveling as well as to make some dodges and evasive maneuvers in combat too. So like I said, I don't think we're going to equip Sanders boots already, but we're going to keep them in mind. That we do have something like that in our possession, maybe revisit the idea later, once we maybe do some gear switches later on. But for now we're going to stick with our magic boots still, because not only do they provide us with a decent amount of fire resist, which is going to allow us to remain maxed out on fire resistance after some gear switches that we're going to do in just a moment. But I also like the magic find. You know, of course, in general, 25 is not a tremendous amount, but I think they have already helped us over the course of the playthrough to get a couple of those nicer items. Anyway, I've also found a couple of gems, and this perfect amethyst over here I didn't find in this form exactly. It was a flawless amethyst, but then I farmed for a gem shrine in order to upgrade it. So now we have a total of 2 perfect amethysts, and that combined with our Ral and Amn runes is going to give us 2 chances to roll the correct amount of sockets on a broadsword through the Horadric Cube recipe I mentioned before. So we're going to have a decent likelihood of being able to save Larzuk's socket quest reward for something else with those 2 coin flips. We'll see. Then we have some magic rings for recycling and these 2 pricey items that are going to sell for 30,000 gold or more. And now these items in the middle here are going to actually end up being useful for us, and we're going to equip them in a moment. And going from the least impressive to the most powerful one, we're going to end up on this rare ring over here, so get prepared for that. But first off, just this small little charm with 5% cold res, of course not the highest roll, but it's still going to prove useful. Then we have this 11 all-res amulet, which is going to be an upgrade over our current one that only gives us 6, so just a small boost all around. And then this rare ring that the Countess herself dropped. She had to compensate for Akara's failure to provide us with a good rare ring here on Nightmare, so behold. We have a set of stats here that's basically every one of them is useful for us. First off, double resist, lightning and fire, both in the 20s. So that's already great. And then we have 20 mana and 6 strength on top of all that. So this is basically a set of attributes that you would gladly welcome on an endgame ring, except that the values would be higher than something like 16 strength would be more appropriate. But for now, for this stage in the game, this is actually a sweet drop, and we're going to immediately equip it over this blue ring that we were still using. Also, we're going to equip the amulet and this charm in a moment. Let's just check our resistance situation. Yeah, we are maxed out on fire and lightning now. And I think this is also going to allow us to drop this 7% lightning resistance charm and this 6% fire in favor of this 6% cold and the new one with 5%. And yeah, we're still maxed out on fire and lightning, and we have 68 resistance in cold. So our general resistance situation got improved by quite a bit. And now, of course, the main event when it comes to this little introduction is, of course, the process of assembling our spirit runeword. Of course, I have been talking about this runeword a lot in the previous episodes, but finally the time has come to do it. Let me just check our cube. Yeah, we still have these 3 magic amulets to recycle from the previous episodes, and nothing interesting there. Of course, I'm going to sort everything properly in our stash in between episodes, but now we need to get on with the process of rolling the correct amount of sockets on one of our broadswords. So here we have a perfect amethyst, ral, and a weapon, and let's see if we get lucky. 1 socket, but we do have another try. Yeah, we have this perfect amethyst from before. We have some spare Amn runes and ral runes. This is precisely one of the reasons I wanted to have a couple more of those. And another try. 4 sockets. Yes. Nice.
Nice.
Nice. All right, I am very satisfied with that outcome. Now, just one quick thing before we assemble Spirit itself, now that we have the proper base for it. I just wanted to mention that Spirit has 3 attributes that have a value range from which the actual amount of the current of that particular attribute is going to be rolled, and the most important of those is FCR, which can roll from 25 to 35. And I'm mentioning it because we need at least 28, so we are going to have a good chance for that, but we need at least 28 in order to reach the next FCR breakpoint for our Sorceress, which is at 63 FCR in total. So let's hope we get that. And anyway, without further ado, Tal, Thul, Ort, Amn. Boom, 33 faster cast rate, almost the max. Wow, nice. All right, we're in the clear. We're in the clear, yes. So let's now just enjoy this item for a moment and discuss its properties. This is the first really good item that we were able to get our hands on. And this is going to last us most likely for the entirety of the playthrough. There are a couple of possible upgrades over Spirit, but the likelihood of us actually being able to get them or assemble them is very low. We can say with 99% certainty that this is going to last us for the rest of the playthrough. And that's cool. We are now set when it comes to our weapon. So let's go. +2 to all skills. Of course, this is going to be a really nice boost. Not only to our damage and our particular damage skills like Frozen Orb and Meteor, but also their support skills like Cold Mastery and Fire Mastery. Then of course our static field range is going to be increased, the mana cost of Teleport is going to be reduced, and things like Warmth are going to be slightly enhanced as well, so basically everything we're doing is going to be improved. Then we have that faster cast rate that is going to allow us to reach the next breakpoint, which is going to be great, and then 55 FHR. Are you kidding me? This is going to allow us to improve our hit recovery frames by 2, and even if we decide to switch off of our belt here with the 17 FHR, we are still, just from Spirit and Stealth, are going to have enough FHR to have hit rate frames better by 1 from what we've had up until this point. So this is just great. The combination, you know, FCR and FHR on this item. Now then there are some less relevant stats. Then the 22 vitality is a static amount, which of course translates to 44 life on a Sorceress. Very nice. Then we have 95 mana, low roll because it goes from 89 to 112, but this is still going to be a big boost to our mana pool. It's not quite going to double it, but it is going to be very significant. And then 6 Magic Absorb is actually a high roll because this one can go from 3 to 8. Unfortunately, Magic Absorb is not that great of a stat because unlike Magic Damage Reduced, which affects all magic types, so fire, cold, and lightning too. This one only reduces specifically magic damage, and not many abilities out there inflict that type of damage. It's going to come from things like Bone Spear from some Viper Claws or Bone Spirit cast by Oblivion Knights, that type of thing, but in general it's pretty rare. But I did want to, since we're on the topic, I did want to touch on the subject of absorb attributes in general, which are very nice, and they work after resistances already took effect, if we're talking about, fire, lightning, or lightning absorb, and they reduce the damage by a percentage or value, and then heal you for the amount reduced. And there are very specialized items out there for particular types of absorb, like for example the Dwarf Star and Ravenfrost rings for fire absorb and cold absorb respectively, or something like for example Thunder God's Vigor, the belt for lightning absorb. So it is a great stat overall, but here the magic absorb specifically on Spirit doesn't really matter all that much. But anyway, let us equip that, and now we are ready with our new rare ring with some of the minor upgrades, and then of course Spirit. Now this is going to make a major difference for us, and it's going to make it even more fun to play. This episode is going to be marked by the acquisition of Spirit. And anyway, let's get to it. I hope you don't hear that honking. I don't know what's going on, but hopefully this is not going to ruin my episode. Anyway, let's first go into the sewers and try to find that exit. You can already see how much quicker we're teleporting, but we're really going to fully experience that in some more open spaces once we start our trek through the desert. But yeah, even when it comes to picking up some potions and stuff like that, this is going to be noticeable. But yeah, the exit is not there, so it's probably going to be on the other side. We have some special groups, let's kill them as well. Yeah, of course, Frozen Orb is just going to delete everything in its path. It's going to be so cool. Another Sacred Globe we actually have here. Let's stash both of those. Of course, they are not going to be better than Spirit, but they might sell well. See, now we're playing a Sorceress, This is it. And of course, just by watching the footage, you can't really feel the difference when it comes to mana management. But believe me, it is so much smoother now with our expanded mana pool, the slightly lower cost of teleport. It's just so much better. Before it was quite a mana-intensive exercise, especially, considering it's really nice that right now, like 4 teleports are not the difference between full mana and no mana, like it kind of used to be. Alright, here we have the waypoint. Now we just need to find the exit. Yeah, now it's quite a bit more than just 4 teleports being the difference. And of course, Frozen Orb is mana intensive as well. It's just a much more pleasant experience in general. And this is something that I always come back to, saying that, the further you go in Diablo 2, generally the more fun it becomes. You really feel the progression of your character in many different areas. Like not only in the raw power, but also mobility, also some convenience. And yeah, when it comes to these kind of dungeon areas, I'm still going to try to be a little bit more careful. I'm going to let myself go when it comes to teleporting insanely. Once we go to the desert areas, more open spaces, that is going to be fun. Alright, here we have Radamant with his cronies. Alright, finally he's no more. Let's just get rid of that guy. Prepare for the acquisition of our Book of Skill. We can use that already, +1 skill obtained. And of course, when it comes to the chest, sometimes there is that Horadric scroll still, sometimes it doesn't spawn, but in any case it doesn't matter, because the acquisition of that Horadric scroll only matters for Kane's dialogue. He is going, of course, then to explain the situation of this act and what we need to do. But, of course, we know all that. This is Nightmare. We are not going through normal. We are not just some snot-nosed sorceress. We already know what to do. Alright, flawless amethyst, that's nice. Any special groups? Yeah, there are some minions. Super mana. Also, I would like to collect a little bit more of these rejuve potions that we are going to start using probably from the next act, when things are going to have the potential of becoming really dangerous. Now it's not that big of a deal anymore, but yeah, let's start collecting them a little bit. I've been a little lax when it comes to collecting those rejuve potions, because I don't really want to spend a lot of time in the episodes by, you know, like sorting our stash. But yeah, of course they are a great resource to just keep collecting, keep building that nice bank. And here of course I'm exploring a little bit more thoroughly, because we do have the stony tomb that we have to visit in order to kill a super unique in there. And we already see it over there. Very nice. Right, so here of course we need to defeat Creeping Feature. And I'm not sure if I mentioned that before, but that is of course a reference to feature creep in game development, for example, when it comes to adding features that weren't originally in the plans. Now let's give ourselves some space here. Flawed Sapphire, I heard there. Also got a level up. Oh yeah, and with that bonus skill that we got from the Book of Skill, I think I'm going to put one more point into Cold Mastery. And that is going to be, I think, the end of progressing that skill for now. I think we should be good with just 10 hard points in it. Now, of course, as you can see, Frozen Orb has no problem when it comes to dealing with opponents. This, yeah, this is going to be our buddy Creeping Feature. I think I was able to highlight him there for a moment. There he is, right in the corner. Being there, hiding in the corner, it's not going to help you. Alright, there we go. And I think we can just normally leave here with our fast teleports and how close these passages were. And we can just continue our exploration. Now, did I miss the top left corner here? I think it is going to be in the bottom left.
I need mana.
Yeah, there was no other way. We have explored every other corner, and here, just as a reminder, of course, in these open desert areas, the passage to the next one is generally located in the one of the four corners of their vaguely square-shaped locations. Right, that's a Grand Charm. We do have the space. Well, actually, let's be systematic here and check this special group over there. Let's check this bottom right corner. Oh wow, we actually have everything we ever needed from the Dry Hills in this one corner. We have both the, well, not even both, the three things: Waypoint, Halls of the Dead, and the passage to the Far Oasis. Of course, we do have to go into the Halls of the Dead because of the Waypoint and the super unique. And normally, of course, there is absolutely no point in coming here on Nightmare because we already have the Horadric Cube. On Hell, there's a bit of a reason because this is a level 85 area on Hell, although a much more convenient location to farm is the Ancient Tunnels, of course, but you know, at least there is something. But on Nightmare, under normal circumstances you would just skip this area, but of course our completionist objectives dictate that we do have to explore it thoroughly. Alright, there we go. On level 2 we have to flag the waypoints, so I'm not going to go left straight away. But check out the different areas first, the different pathways. Now if you're a little bit too far away, telekinesis won't work. Alright, there we go. We got our waypoint already, and now we can go straight to where the exit should be, and it is there. So now let's just go to the placement of the chest. It is also on the left. These, you know, an easy way to remember where to go in Act 2 is, of course, in these dungeons you always have to go left. The only exception is Maggot Lair, where you have to go right. Oh, actually, any special ones? No. Alright, here we should have Blood Witch, the Wild. I would like to highlight her, but alright, there we go. She was present under our cursor for a moment there. Light Gauntlets I am going to take. And check if it's any good, and of course the chest is going to be empty because we already have the Horadric Cube. Alright, there's also a glowing orb. Let's take that. Alright, and now we do have to deposit some stuff and kind of do a little bit of inventory management.
I know my hello.
Yeah, Cold Mastery. 2 to Energy Shield. We could potentially use it if we want to hold on to it as our Energy Shield orb. If we, I'm going to elaborate at some point when it comes to Energy Shield. I am not a big fan of that skill when not really... when you don't... Well, what's the word? When you don't kind of commit to it, when you're not a lightning sorceress. But anyway, more on that maybe in a second. Let's just first do our inventory. But I am going to hold on to it just in case, although I think if we do get to do something with Energy Shield, I might reconsider the idea if we have the ingredients and a proper staff for a memory staff. But yeah, basically when it comes to Energy Shield, it's a skill that takes some of the damage you receive, and instead of dropping health, it is going to take some of our mana away. But it is unfortunately incredibly inefficient if you don't pump up its synergies. So if you're not in lightning, if you're not a lightning sorceress, and you're not you don't go that kind of route, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's well, basically then it comes down to preference. Some people still like to just have an Energy Shield orb or something with just a couple of points into it to use it, but it comes down largely down to preference, because then that proportion of mana that you lose when you get hit is so inefficient that you basically, it feels like everyone has mana burn once you go through the game. And you know, as easily as it can save your life in some situations, it can also lead to your doom, because if you're like teleporting around, for example, and you get hit by some unfortunate swing somewhere, and you know, you lose all of your mana, you kind of get thrown off your game, and that can lead to a quick death on hell. So I generally prefer to go without it, but we'll see. Perhaps if we get a good staff to make a memory runeword, which is the Energy Shield kind of runeword, we might kind of revisit the idea for some areas in hell, but we'll see about that. Generally I think I'm going to stick to what I'm most comfortable playing with and probably not use it, because it would do more harm than good, I think. Anyway, here in the far oasis we have already found the waypoint and the Maggot Lair, and all we need to do is find Beetle Burst, who is as elusive as always, it seems. Oh, Beetle Burst! Where are you, buddy? Psst, 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 psst. Was that him? Yeah, there he is. He is usually amidst some ruins. Alright, but now he is no more. We even get a flawless diamond out of the whole deal. And now we're going to go through the maggot lair. Our next objective. Of course, here on Nightmare with teleport, the maggot lair is not going to be nearly as harrowing of an experience as it was for us on normal, because we are not going to be at the mercy of like monsters blocking us in these corridors. And also, Frozen Orb works relatively well here. Of course, you know, when it comes to playing some builds, like if you're a Bone Spear Necromancer, for example, Maggot Lair is just the perfect area for that skill to shine, but most skills in the game do need a little bit more open space to display their full effectiveness. But yeah, Frozen Orb works well enough here. I think this path over there should lead us to the exit. Yeah, there it is. Of course, with teleport it is so much better. There we go. Alright, and here's Cold Worm already. He is of course immune to cold and immune to fire. Wow, I planned to finish him off with Meteor, but I think we're going to have to actually hire our mercenary. And we're probably going to hire a new mercenary just because the difference in levels is going to be so high. Let's just hire whoever has the highest level here. I'm not going to take necessarily a defensive mercenary that we are going to use in the end, but of course we're going to hire a much higher level one later on. Let's just take whoever. I know that our old mercenary had some weapon, but at this point it was of course very outdated, so we're just going to give him something else here. They all suck. But this one has the highest damage, so let's just get this one. And let's check out that ring. Alright, nothing special, we can sell that, and we can deposit that diamond. And yeah, now let's use the services of our mercenary. Oh yeah, we can also finish that quest with Radamant officially by talking to Atma, so that one is grayed out now. And now Asab, do your work. Wow, his damage is really bad too. Don't get distracted, man. Stay on the task. You know, I think it's going to be faster to just remake and just go through the maggot lair again very quickly. Oh yeah, I didn't equip him with that weapon. That might have been the reason why he was so bad. But anyway, probably now our buddy Coldworm is not going to have the fire immunity. That was of course because of the random properties that he got. Of being fire enchanted. Now he's immune to lightning besides cold. Alright, boom. I have only one thing to say to you, Coldworm. Bugger off. Oh, okay. Another pair of Saigons, it seems. And a flawless skull. Alright, and we're out of here.
Good day.
Now we need to replenish some of our potions here. Just go like that, get some stuff identified. You know what, I'm just going to sort all of that in between episodes. Let's just keep going. Alright, and now we need to find the exit. We can kill some special groups along the way. I would like to get some experience. because we are going to need it. It is very welcome. Speaking of which, of course, we got a level here. Progressing in Frozen Orb, we're going to go into Frozen Orb until we max it out, and then I think instead of going into Cold Mastery, we're just going to start pumping up Meteor, I think. And that is going to be nice. Our fire skills are going to improve, and we're going to start becoming more and more versatile. Now, of course, in the Lost City we have a couple of things to do. There's a waypoint, there's the Dark Elder to kill, there's some experience to gain. And, you know, since normally on a Nightmare our objective is to visit all of these side areas that we would skip otherwise, and Act 2 doesn't really have that kind of thing, because well, the original plan was to leave the Ancient Tunnels for Hell, because it's a very nice, cozy, pretty safe level 85 area to farm, with no cold immunes in it. So whether you're in Frozen Orb or Blizzard, it's just a laid-back, kind of fun area to go through and farm some stuff. But since Act 2 doesn't really have anything else that we would visit on Nightmare, I think we're going to just do a quick run and showcase the Ancient Tunnels. Here's our buddy Dark Elder. Yeah, there we go. I was able to get him. Let's get our mercenary out of trouble. Let's try to have him live for as long as possible. Alright, Smoke Sphere we can get. Sapphire we can pick up. Alright, let's keep on going. Here we have the passage to the next area, but we still need our waypoint somewhere. Alright, there it is. And finally, Ancient Tunnels anywhere? Alright, there it is. Act 2 is kind of kind of an exception when it comes to telekinesis, because both Ancient Tunnels and the Room to Duriel you can actually telekinetically enter by using the skill. So somehow that works. And yeah, it's kind of a standard little dungeon, but the selection of monsters here, these guys, the invaders, are the only kind of guys with a potential to be dangerous. Especially on Hell, if you have a special group with like extra fast or something like that, they can be a little dangerous, but generally there are like zombies and ghouls in here, so pretty non-threatening monsters, pretty slow. And oh yeah, these mages, of course, whose projectiles you can dodge. No cold immunes on Hell, unless of course a special group, stay with me there, Asab. Of course, unless a special group spawns with like Cold Enchanted or something, you might have a cold immune rarely here and there, but yeah, generally a pretty laid back, pretty relaxing area to farm. And you might have been able to, wow, another set item, the Angelic Saber there, dropping for us. Oh yeah, let's give our mercenary, let's try to give him a health pot and try to keep him alive. But yeah, I was about to say that what was I about to say? Oh, Ancient Armor, unless it's ethereal, it should be able to sell well.
Impossible.
Now we have the space for it, and for that diamond. Actually, for socket Ancient Armor, we are going to have more than 100 strength at some point. I might even hold on to it for a couple of things that we could potentially make. But yeah, just a kind of a small, neat dungeon that we're going to farm on Hell. A very kind of convenient spot to have a pretty safe level 85 area to farm in Act 2 here on Hell. Right, here I am going to try to be a little careful
Impossible.
when it comes to the Viper Claws. That's nobody, not a special guy. Oh yeah, I know what I wanted to say. I wanted to talk a little bit about the combination of FCR and FHR and how, you know, teleporting like that. I know that some people don't like me teleporting continuously like that, but paradoxically, this is going to be the safest way to travel in some areas, at least on Hell. When it comes to some ones, some locations, we are going to take it slow and kind of methodically progress while killing guys. But in some locations, it is going to be, you know, the prime way to travel and keep ourselves safe with that combination of very quick teleport casts through FCR. And in case we get hit, you know, we have very high FHR frames. And since by then we're also going to be using some full rejuvenation potions on Hell, you know, this is basically the way to go when it comes to travel. And yeah, we're done with another quest. So, for example, a good example of such an area that we just want to fly through and never look back is going to be the Flare dungeon on Hell, for example, in Act 3. Anyway, now I think we need to first deposit some stuff, and then we're going to, after transforming our staff, we're going to talk to Drognen. He has to suggest that we go to the palace and look for the secret passage to the Arcane Sanctuary. Otherwise, the invisible wall that prevents us from entering the palace is going to still be there. +1 to Sorceress skill levels, some life and whatnot, Blizzard, but of course this is not going to be useful for us now that we have Spirit. Yeah, the Angelic Sickle, we can transform that. And yeah, I'm just dumping everything here quickly on this first page, but I am going to sort everything together with our Countess spoils, of course, in between episodes. Now we can go talk to Drognen and make our way into the palace. Alright, he said what he needed to say. Alright, waypoint already flagged. Don't really see any interesting groups to stop by and kill. Wow, really empty. I would like to have some fights here. Like I mentioned on normal, I really like the area here, and plus we also can have a bit of a revenge on those dark, lightning-resistant skeletons that gave us such a hard time on normal, because of course now we are not using lightning skills, and we can very handily deal with them and have our revenge. Have the satisfaction of just deleting them from the game. Another level up, by the way. Like 3 more level ups for Frozen Orb to be maxed out. We can have our ancient armor. Even normal ancient armors sell for 30k. Anyway, here when it comes to the portal and the presence of Fire Guy somewhere near it, I am going to try to be kind of careful because of course he is fire enchanted. So we want to keep our distance from him. I don't want to have any nasty situations. Oh, another thing I wanted to talk about is that you might have noticed that our mercenary leveled up there. Said that he feels stronger. That means he gained a level. He cannot exceed our own levels. But yeah, he says that he feels stronger. It always reminds me of Planescape Torment and, you know, Dakon when he says, "In knowing the teachings of Zerthamon, I have become stronger." So yeah, he feels stronger as well. Anyway, fortunately, so far we didn't have any nasty situations with these fire-enchanted explosions, and I intend to keep it that way. You know, it didn't look like these explosions are anything special, but, you know, I want you to have that impression. I don't want to get any nasty, into any potential incidents with those fire enchanted explosions. Oh, there were some special groups. Let's actually eliminate some of them. Trying to not kill them over, like not over the platforms, because then you will lose the loot if they die kind of in the vast nothingness of space. Alright, not this way. And nothing interesting there. Well, actually, we can probably sell that already. And that as well. 41 to life. Anyway, let's keep on going. Of course, now the exploration of the Arcane Sanctuary is going to be quite fast with teleport. Might even be faster to just teleport back and try a different way instead of running through town. You know, of course, Act 2, the distance between the waypoint platform and the TP is quite large. It depends, of course, on the act sometimes whether you want to go through town or not. In certain situations, like in Act 3, for example, both of them are right beside each other. So it's generally the way you want to go. But yeah, here it might even be faster to just simply teleport back the way we came in. And this is going to be the way. The dreaded fourth way, Arcane. You know, let's stop by, kill a couple of guys. Alright, the summoner is no more.
That couldn't have been Horazon. Poor wretch.
Alright, now let's check out the square. So this is going to be the top left on that left side of this square. That is the Canyon of the Magi. I think I'm going to farm a little bit of experience here. You can get a couple of juicy groups, especially since we got beetles and we got the yetis. They are good experience monsters, like base monsters, so of course if we get some special varieties of them. Mercenary, come here. Don't get yourself into too much trouble. Well, that healing is going. The density doesn't seem to be particularly great here, but before we start delving into the different tombs of Tal Rasha... Oh, I gave him a potion and tried to teleport him away, but that was too much damage for poor Asab. Yeah, that is generally the fate for of a mercenary that doesn't have any equipment. Anyway, I also mentioned tombs of Tal Rasha because, of course, we do have the objective of killing every super unique, and the Ancient Ka, the Soulless, the super unique, the only one left here for us, is located in one of the false tombs of Tal Rasha, so not in the square one that we would normally go straight to, but we're going to have to explore the other tombs as well. The only help in that endeavor is the knowledge that Ancient Ka is going to be in a large tomb, and the other 5 from the 6 fake ones are small ones, so sometimes with just a bit of exploration you can determine whether you are in the correct tomb or not for the purposes of finding Ancient Ka. That was just a chipped emerald. Of course, you know, a lot of potential drops you identify by just listening to what drops. All gems have the same sound effect. But unfortunately it wasn't anything flawless, but just a smaller one. But every gem has its use. So anyway, here's of course in the top right the square, but let's actually replenish our supplies and then start exploring through those fake tombs and see how luck treats us.
I feel no pit good day.
I actually don't have anything to sell to you. We just need our potions and we're going to be good. This is probably going to be faster instead of walking through town. Right here, let's see. This has the, I think, the makings of a small tomb here, having such a quick dead end, but we'll see. Let's not judge too quickly. Yeah, here we have a couple more minions. Give me that experience, please. Oh yeah, another potential dead end here. Yeah. But I am going to stop by and kill these guys. Just let's get ourselves into a more convenient starting position and then go. And clear out this situation. Getting some rare rings. That has some potential. Of course, you know, beetles, always a good type of monster for the purposes of farming experience. You just need to be careful. Especially on Hell. On Hell, beetles can be not such a profitable deal when it comes to farming experience. Probably the risk there outweighs the potential profits. Yeah, this is going to be a small one. So let's just check the bottom left one. Alright, quick dead end here. But this looks promising. With all these forks in the road. Yeah, this might be it. Another level up. Very nice. Kind of replenish our mana here on our belt in peace before we proceed. Let's see what this... Alright, Ancient Ka already in there. Very nice. And there we go. Cool. Another objective completed then. We have a Tall Rune, Petrified Wand. Alright. You know what, here we're just going to evacuate through a TP. And prepare for the final true tomb now. Alright, triple resist. One of them being poison, unfortunately, not that great of a resist, but this is something that we might hold on to. The values are not the highest, and besides that, there's basically nothing for us, but I think it's worthy to just keep there just for some kind of rainy day situation. Perhaps it is going to prove useful. Anyway, now let's go to the square tomb and prepare for the final encounter. Alright, there we go. Okay, Rune Scepter is something that we can stash in our cube. And yeah, just like I said earlier, you can actually enter Duriel's chamber through telekinesis as well. So let's do it. Alright, Duriel, Mama's home. And there we go. That's Duriel. Got a unique ring. A lovely screen shake. I do see some stuff I would like to pick up. I guess we can get that and that stashed in there. And that's going to be it. Alright. So now we are done with Act 2 then. It went by pretty fast once we, of course, you know, got our preparations sorted. But now I think we're not going to have any farming to do, any item assembly to do. So I think in Act 3 we're going to go straight to the gameplay. Here, of course, when it comes to our last quest, we need to do some conversations, and it's going to be grayed out as well. But of course we have completed all of them. We have defeated all of the super uniques along the way, and just for proof, we do have all of the waypoints as well, so that is pretty cool. Now when it comes to our loot, let's already sell the stuff we need to sell. Another Cathan's ring then. Okay, now this is just junk, so I can just drop that and sell these. Alright, all we have to do now is talk to Jaren and then the Sheaf, and we'll be done with our adventure in Act 2. And there we go. So now we have finally officially concluded and completed all of our quests. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I certainly enjoyed playing through it. I hope I can release the next couple of episodes a little bit quicker than these past few. I should be able to, so I hope you're going to look forward to that. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.